NVIDIA is the biggest of the tech companies, or one of the biggest.
We're in a world today where chips are everywhere. They're powering everything.
We have now reached the tipping point of generative AI. This is going to touch literally every single industry.
The tech world is on the brink of a major shakeup. AMD is taking on NVIDIA and its costly Cuda technology, shaking up the industry. Giants like Apple are crafting their own tech solutions, proving they don't need NVIDIA to succeed. With heavyweights like Meta joining forces with AMD, NVIDIA's dominance is under serious threat. How soon will we see NVIDIA lose its edge? Let's reveal the big and innovative changes behind AMD. Inside the battle for GPU supremacy, NVIDIA versus AMD. You see, Apple has already shown it can create impressive custom silicon. Could these big companies, with their strong engineering teams, find alternatives to Cuda, especially using tools like PyTorch? Meta, for example, has shown it can work closely with AMD's GPUs. But this isn't the worst part. In today's tech world, a company's ability to stick with or move away from NVIDIA's technology could change their costs and strategies. With millions of dollars on the line, moving to cheaper and potentially just as good solutions could have a big impact on the tech world and these companies' finances. As these changes happen, they might show a trend toward more tech independence and innovation, avoiding expensive dependencies and creating a more diverse tech environment. The sale didn't happen because NVIDIA's founder, Jensen Huang, had one big demand. He wanted to be the CEO of the new, combined company. This condition made the deal fall apart. Looking at NVIDIA now, it seems almost funny that they were once close to merging with AMD. An AMD insider, Himanshu Mohapatra, who used to be an engineer there, shared this story. He was in the meetings where the deal was discussed and saw AMD miss the chance to lead the GPU market. His memories show how one decision can change an entire industry. Mohapatra's story gives us a peek into a pivotal moment that could have dramatically changed the tech world. It's a powerful reminder of how crucial decisions can shape the future of technology. NVIDIA, led by Jensen Huang, has seen its stock acting unpredictably, much like the wild swings of cryptocurrency, rather than a steady stock. This up-and-down behavior shows that investors are worried about the company's high value. On the other hand, AMD has been making smart moves to counter NVIDIA's closed system. By creating open-source options, AMD not only offers a different kind of technology, but also a different philosophy. They promote a platform that is more accessible for developers and consumers. As we keep an eye on these changes, it's clear that the competition between NVIDIA and AMD is heating up. Their decisions could lead to big changes in the tech world, affecting developers, consumers, and investors. Octavio, the CEO of Opus, shared his thoughts, pointing out the clear differences in how these two tech giants behave in the market. He noted that while NVIDIA's stock is very unstable, AMD seems to be on a steadier path. This might attract investors who like stability. The semiconductor industry is growing at an amazing rate. Many people believe companies like NVIDIA will keep growing forever and reach new heights. But it's also important to look at other semiconductor companies, as they might offer great investment opportunities too. One decision changed the tech world forever. AMD's unexpected turn. Himanshu Mohapatra, who used to work as an engineer at AMD, shared some stories from the mid to late 2000s. Back then, AMD was thinking about buying another semiconductor company to improve its GPU technology. NVIDIA was one of the companies they considered. But Hector Ruiz, AMD's CEO at the time, had a different idea. He decided to buy ATI, a growing Canadian semiconductor company. This choice changed AMD's direction and focus. Phil Park, another experienced employee at AMD, confirmed Mohapatra's story. Even though Park and Mohapatra never met and had different opinions on some matters, Park agreed with the main points about AMD's strategic choices back then. These insights show how the semiconductor industry is always changing, with big decisions like mergers and acquisitions shaping a company's future and market position. Mohapatra looks back to a time when NVIDIA was not seen as a major player in the tech world. Back then, even though NVIDIA's graphics cards were popular among gamers, the larger tech industry didn't really notice them. NVIDIA was just a smaller company trying hard to get a bigger piece of the market. ATI, on the other hand, was leading the market and didn't leave much space for NVIDIA to grow. Mohapatra mentioned that AMD, another big name in tech, didn't see NVIDIA as a competitor or even on the same level. They thought of NVIDIA as just another small company, not in the same league as big players like ARM and Intel. AMD believed NVIDIA didn't have much potential to make a big impact. But this wasn't the whole story. The tech world started to change, especially with the rise of artificial intelligence, AI. NVIDIA's skills in AI quickly moved them from being an underdog to a top innovator in the tech industry. This surprising shift made other companies and the market see NVIDIA in a new light. Today, NVIDIA is a great example of how quickly things can change in tech, especially for companies that are initially underestimated. This change is not just about potential in the tech world, but also shows how unexpected success can happen. This shakeup, Mohapatra's insights, are really interesting. He talks about the intense competition in the early 2000s, often called the chip war. Patra shares stories and details that were not known before, giving us a better idea of the strategies and conflicts of that time. These stories help us understand the challenges in the tech world back then. But here's where it gets tricky for AMD. Looking back, they might regret not meeting some demands from Huang, an important person in the industry. This decision might have hurt their chances against NVIDIA. However, the big question now is about AMD's future. Can they bounce back and become tech leaders again, or will they stay behind NVIDIA? The tech community is watching closely to see if AMD can surprise everyone with a big new idea. When you compare NVIDIA with other semiconductor companies, it's obvious they're far ahead in terms of value. But others could catch up, especially in data centers. NVIDIA has seen a lot of growth here recently. It's interesting to note that the biggest data center operators are now developing their own chips quietly. They're doing this without much public attention, which could change the whole industry. The competition takes an unexpected turn. NVIDIA versus AMD. The talk about NVIDIA and its competitors brings up important questions about how long these high stock values can last in the tech world. Could other companies reach NVIDIA's level? What will happen if more companies start making their own chips? These are important things to think about for anyone interested in the semiconductor industry. Companies like Dell and Lenovo need affordable AI chips to meet the growing demand from consumers. This should have been a great opportunity for NVIDIA, but the company has struggled to supply enough chips to meet the huge demand. This shortage has given competitors a chance to step in. AMD has noticed NVIDIA's struggle and is taking advantage of it. They are increasing the production of their AI GPUs, offering them as a good alternative to NVIDIA's chips. If AMD can meet the demand better than NVIDIA, the market could shift in their favor. AMD, like many others in the semiconductor industry, has been dealing with a surplus of chips. This surplus built up over the last 2 years but is now starting to decrease as tech companies need more components. As technology advances, new challenges and opportunities will keep emerging, making this an exciting industry to watch. The latest quarter, companies had to reduce their extra inventory, leading to a small growth in overall revenue of just 2% from the previous year. This slow growth is especially noticeable in 2 of AMD's segments. The gaming sector, which used to do well, saw a big drop of 48%. The embedded sector, which includes industries like automotive and industrial, also had a major fall, dropping by 46%. It's not all bad news for AMD. The data center business, which is very important for AMD's future, had a huge increase in revenue, jumping by 80% to reach $2.3 billion. This strong growth shows that there's a high demand and a bright future ahead. Additionally, the client segment, which provides CPUs for servers, laptops, mobiles, and desktops, also did very well with an 85% rise in revenue, reaching $1.4 billion. Encouraged by these great results from the data center and client segments, AMD has raised its revenue expectations for the whole year of 2024 from $3.5 billion to $4 billion. CEO Lisa Su is confident in these new estimates, pointing to strong customer relationships as the reason for this positive outlook. This suggests that AMD expects ongoing demand and success in its main business areas, despite the problems faced by other segments. Over time, AMD's earnings from selling cloud GPUs are expected to surpass those from its gaming and embedded center segments. These segments have been performing poorly and affecting AMD's overall revenue. So what does this mean for AMD's stock value? Let's take a closer look. As we examine AMD's financial situation, it's clear that their sources of revenue are changing. In the past, AMD relied a lot on its gaming and embedded segments to make money. But now, the cloud GPU sector is growing fast, suggesting a new direction for AMD's business. With the increasing demand for cloud computing, AMD's cloud GPUs are becoming essential for handling complex computations and large-scale data processing. This isn't just a temporary change, it's a strong sign of where the tech industry is heading. More companies and people are using cloud-based solutions, which need powerful processing capabilities that AMD's GPUs can provide. AMD's path shows how quickly tech changes, navigating the shifting sands of the GPU market. If AMD keeps innovating and capturing more market share in the cloud GPU sector, it could lead to a steady increase in revenue. This would likely boost its stock, making AMD a more appealing investment. For investors and tech enthusiasts, understanding these changes is crucial. It highlights the need to stay informed about industry trends and the financial health of leading tech companies like AMD. As AMD shifts towards a more cloud-focused revenue model, it could set a new standard for its financial performance and reshape its role in the tech industry. The competition in the cloud GPU market is fierce, and AMD will need to continuously innovate to stay ahead. This ongoing competition could either propel AMD to new heights or pose significant hurdles along the way. If you're thinking about investing in NVIDIA right now, it might not be the best idea. The stock price of NVIDIA is quite high at the moment. It could be wiser to wait until the price drops before buying. When looking at the big players in the semiconductor industry, AMD seems to have more room for growth than NVIDIA. If you're planning a trading strategy, one good approach could be to invest in AMD, hoping its stock will go up, while also betting against NVIDIA, expecting its stock to fall. This way, you balance out the risks and rewards, keeping a steady position in the unpredictable semiconductor market. But here's the tricky part. While waiting for NVIDIA's stock to drop, things might change quickly. Keeping an eye on the market is crucial. The idea behind this strategy is the belief that AMD might perform better than NVIDIA in the near future. However, nothing is certain, and the market can be very unpredictable. So, always stay updated and ready to adjust your strategy as needed. Recent times, the stock market has drawn attention to companies such as AMD and NVIDIA. Over the last year, these two tech giants have maintained steady revenue streams, although they haven't shown significant growth. The valuation of AMD's stock appears somewhat inflated, being priced at 46 times its projected earnings for the upcoming year. NVIDIA's situation is similar, with its stock trading even higher at 47 times the earnings expected in the next year. This scenario presents a curious case for potential investors who are eyeing the technological sector for opportunities, weighing the pros and cons of such high valuation multiples against the backdrop of stable yet stagnant revenue performance. The main difference is NVIDIA's recent impressive growth, which explains its higher stock price. Both companies are in the semiconductor industry, but AMD's potential might not be fully reflected in its current stock price. This could mean that AMD might be a more attractive investment now, given the long-term opportunities it seems ready to seize. AMD has shown potential that hasn't yet been fully recognized in its stock price. This could mean that AMD might actually be a more attractive investment right now, considering the long-term opportunities it seems poised to capture. AMD has recently stepped into the AI industry and made a big splash. Their growth in data centers has been huge, fitting right in with the latest market trends. People have a positive view of AMD's products. One reason is that cloud providers like having options instead of sticking only with NVIDIA. Plus, AMD's products are cheaper than NVIDIA's, giving them an edge in the market. AI is reshaping the future for tech giants. The rise of AI, AMD's strategic moves. AI is becoming more popular in many business areas. Companies are using AI more and more to boost efficiency and come up with new ideas. This shows how much we depend on advanced computing solutions now. AMD is making a strong push here, not just to take on the market leaders, but to offer valuable options for buyers who are watching their budgets. This strategy helps AMD stand out in a competitive market. The real excitement is how AMD's move is shaking up the industry. Their cost-effective solutions are a game changer, especially for businesses that need powerful tech without breaking the bank. As more people become interested in devices that work well with AI, AMD might see a big boost in its success. Experts think the AI market could grow to $43 billion by 2027 and even reach $1 trillion by 2030. This huge growth is a great chance for AMD. The company has been focusing on building its AI capabilities in data centers, which could make it much more valuable over time. AMD's earnings have been going up steadily, showing its growing strength in the tech world. This rise in profits proves that the company is meeting the high demand for AI technology. As technology keeps advancing, AMD isn't just keeping up, it's aiming to lead. This focus on top-notch AI technology could make AMD a major player in the tech industry for a long time. The future looks bright for AMD as it continues to improve its technology and services to fit an AI-driven market. With its ongoing investment in research and development, AMD is in a great position to benefit from the growing AI market. This strategy not only boosts AMD's current financial success, but also prepares the company for lasting growth and leadership in the fast-changing tech world. And there's more. By keeping its focus on innovation and staying ahead of tech trends, AMD is setting itself up to be a big name in the industry. This commitment to being at the forefront of technology could ensure that AMD stays relevant and competitive for many years. Thinking about AMD's potential for growth, it's clear the company is focused on continuous advancements and innovation. This suggests that AMD could keep growing over time, making it an attractive choice for investors looking at the long-term health of their investments. Investing in AMD now might be a good idea as the company is on the verge of new and exciting developments. Do you think AMD will overtake Intel in the next 5 years? Leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more.